This video is focusing on education in conflict areas, specifically within eastern regions of Democratic Republic of Congo. DRC is recognized for its violence, child protection and humanitarian crisis. This topic will concentrate on the recruitment of child soldiers and the effect on their education. This issue also highlights other matters such as sexual and violent abuse towards young girls and teachers, and how teachers are affected within the education system. To truly understand the major issues for children, it is essential to discuss the origins of war. The refugee crisis caused by the genocide in Rwanda's 1994 civil war saw ethnic populations take refuge in eastern DRC, leading to tribalism and racist environments. This resulted in armed groups to be formed, which in turn prompt rebels to form their own. Regardless of a peace agreement in 2002, violence still endured against innocent civilians within eastern regions. The Congolese government was insufficient in managing or defeating the array of armed groups due to poor governance, weak institutions and rampant corruption. ROF 2019 states that the humanitarian situation remained alarming, with 4.5 million people displaced from their homes and more than 130,000 refugees fleeing to neighbouring countries. The conflict plunged the country into challenging times, with unequal distribution of resources as well as limited access to basic social services and poor delivery and quality of those same services. This directly impacted children's ability to gain an education due to the poor quality and inaccessibility of public schools. According to War Child 2019, a child connected with an armed group refers to an individual below the age of 18 years old. Children are often recruited as fighters, cooks, messengers, spies, or for sexual purposes. This ongoing trauma during and after departure from the armed forces can be highly detrimental to the child's physical and mental health, especially when children are faced with discrimination and stigma from families and within the community. Paul 2019 explains that children are joining militant groups due to desperation for basic needs such as food, shelter, security, education, and sense of belonging. The government's lack of support for those in extreme poverty, social injustice, a lack of job opportunities, and inadequate or non-existent education are the main factors increasing the risk of children facing abuse. Unfortunately, the recruitment of child soldiers also intensifies other atrocities such as the increased violations of females. Frank reports that according to the national education system in DRC, conflict has a huge effect for students, as 6 main provinces affected contain the lowest primary school completion rate. Children often don't complete school due to physical and sexual violence as well as abduction. After being raped, girls often drop out of school because of the associated stigma, medical consequences, or fear of another attack. Human Rights Watch report showed only 12% of girls attended school with perfect attendance. Camille, who was 16 when Human Rights Watch interviewed her, said she had dropped out of secondary school without finishing her exams after she was sexually abused by an armed soldier and became pregnant. Another girl interviewed was only 6 years old, who was wounded by an armed group fighter who hit her across the head with a gun, leading to blood spilling everywhere. Violence has caused young girls to be filled with fear, causing grades to drop significantly and schooling to be left incomplete. A study by Lantis et al. 2019 found that in previous years, when girls first started school in Congo at the age of 6, they usually obtain an average grade of 6.036. However, the average grade for 2019 stands at 2.7, significantly lower than previous years. It has been reported that several non-state armed groups have abducted, beaten or killed several dozen teachers during the 2013 to 2017 period. Global Coalition to Protect Education from Attack claimed that 8% of teachers who were part of education programs in North Kivu were attacked and some killed between 2015 and 2017. Krugman and Hun 2014 study discussed that teachers are often targeted for their ability to read and write, therefore able to discuss issues with authorities to help the militant's cause. There are, however, plenty of other barriers teachers in this region face. A report produced by Gallagher et al. Explained that the main issues include low wages and poor working conditions alongside lack of appropriate training, specifically in areas involving conflict sensitivity, exclusion of minority groups, and lowering standards of schools in areas occupied by social and cultural divisions. This, alongside a lack of transparency and responsibility shown by the state's management of education system, makes accessing education extremely difficult. The quality of education may be improved under new detailed training sessions aiming to improve and build on already qualified teachers' skills. These training sessions are set up by the local government of South Kivu in Eastern DRC, known as EPSE. Alongside UNICEF providing funding and technical support, they aim to enhance the skills of professional teachers and the preparation of lesson plans and student evaluations that improve learning learning outcomes. This training is part of the new approach to a literate classroom environment in which all letters and numbers are posted on the four walls of a classroom. This way, reading and writing, which were two separate subjects, will now be taught together and will make up a subject on its own, said Leon Mazagi of the South Kivu EPSP. Rather than building a new education system from the ground up, this program aims to increase the quality of education for children by improving the existing schooling system. This new program also reduces the travel and accommodation costs and allows a greater number of teachers to be able to obtain training. In order to reduce the risk of gender-based violence, a program called Creating Opportunities Through Mentoring, Parental Involvement and Safe Spaces, COMPASS, was created by the collaboration of the International Rescue Committees, the Congolese Government and UK Department for International Development. COMPASS aimed to challenge gender bias and support families and communities significantly by improving social standing and health standards, both mental and physical, for women. In interviews, participants have expressed that they had a strong sense of companionship with others and that the quality of their friendships and in some cases family relationships had improved. Tanya O'Connor, 2017. The program offered safe space to help empower girls by giving advice to each other, by sharing ideas about their safety, education, and hopes about their futures. The safe space also provided education sessions with appropriate materials and mentors who provided sessions and life skills focused on staying safe within the community. This was especially important considering that many ex-female soldiers are unaccepted back into their communities, and female child soldiers are often ostracized and unable to find proper employment opportunities because of their lack of skills and social stigma. Although safe spaces were successful during the program, concerns over exposure to GBV and harmful gender norms remain a problem. This is the first program to be created to support solely female ex-soldiers. Another program called Disarmament, Demobilization and Reintegration, DDR, is aimed at supporting both genders but has been largely unsuccessful with girls, with only 8% of girls being demobilized. The United Nations have stated in their Sustainable Development Goals that an ending child recruitment features in Goal 8 on decent work and economic development, and it is central to Goal 16 on peaceful, inclusive societies and the end of all forms of violence against and toward children. Preventing recruitment and use in conflict areas is also essential to ensure quality education and good health and well-being. At the start of the SDGs is the commitment to leave no one behind and to reach those furthest behind. In 2017, Beast Direct and the Center Resolution Conflict, an organization based in Eastern Congo, committed to supporting these goals. They aim to reintegrate and demobilize 100 ex-child soldiers, successfully demobilizing 62 children and enrolling 35 children, 18 boys and 17 girls, into schools where they were taught vocational skills to help earn a living. The main benefits of the program helped reduce some stigma within a small community of North Kivu, raising the children's confidence by allowing communities to engage together and supplying the children with psychological support in the form of 6 counselors who worked with them. This program empowered, motivated and raised visibility of children and helped them become a valued members of their community. The project also boosted opportunities for girls in schools where they felt more accepted and valued by allowing them to learn academic and vocational skills in an otherwise gender-biased country. The lack of public involvement by Congo's authorities is a massive barrier in the reintegration and education of children whose lives have been devastated by war. However, non-governmental organizations such as War Child have been donated funds to support children to enhance the program durability, but only for short periods that will last no longer than 12 months. The research I have conducted has led me to conclude that the children of the Democratic Republic of Congo need the full support of the government to allow them to lead normal, functional childhoods and gain a comprehensive education through more sustainable, flexible and prolonged involvement. I have also concluded that the government will need support from the wider community to help with this, an opinion that is echoed by Child Soldiers International 2016. They state that efforts must be made to support the DRC government within the assistance of the UN and NGOs. This strategy must include provisions to make education more accessible to girls, whether through the formal education system or catch-up classes for those absent from previous lessons. War Child 2019 suggests 2 proposals that the government and non-governmental organisations could do to improve reintegration of children. They suggest that more investment and focus is needed on multi-sectoral child protection systems at formal and informal levels, so children in need of reintegration support are identified and adequately supported with services adapting to their specific needs, with adaptations made for age, maturity, gender and disability, alongside investing in programs that support children, families, peers and communities involved in resilience and social cohesion through strategic decisions to remove any segregation and stigma for children. Therefore, prioritising child protection, education, psychosocial support and livelihood initiatives. To conclude, the Democratic Republic of Congo has endured many conflicts, leaving the country's infrastructure severely damaged and adversely affecting the country's children. Although systems are in place to help educate and reintegrate children whose lives have been affected by war, more needs to be done by the government and world organisations to ensure that the children of Congo have access to a decent education and are safe from the trauma that comes with war. For education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Now